sincerely, we're not doing anything differently before or after. Okay. You see, we are in a very special space, I call it. And our work are with different groups of people. We are working with the youth, we are working with beginner agribusiness, we are working with students, smallholder farmers, women farmers, farmer-based organizations, aggregators, nucleus farmers, what have you. So we have to travel to them, and they are more physical people. But what happened, and possibly, I think for now, it's still a learning curve, and this is why this is very key and instrumental to a small organization like Agrihouse. We work on different projects, like I mentioned. For instance, we launched the One Household, One Garden initiative when the pandemic was at its peak, and when the government was sharing cooked food. And we thought, how could we support in building sustainability? How do we teach you to fish than to give you the fish? So that was our mentality for introducing the One Household, One Garden. We launched it 100% on social media. We just a flyer. Within a week, it was overwhelming. 1 week, 700 people signing on. We are very small. We didn't know how we were going to internally support everyone. And I'm telling you, even till now, people are insulting us. Why did you launch something that you could not? So among the 700 people, we're able to directly support 67 homes. But the beauty is that people came to our office to pick the seedlings. So indirectly, we supported over 200 people because the seedlings were at our office. Now, what is it doing to us now? This is something we started ourselves. And how is it enhancing partnership? A year down the lane, Akyaa has called us, giving us funding to extend it. And so this is something that was run digitally, but a year after, something that we're doing very small, now we have funding to extend it to other regions. Now, on our livestock program that I mentioned, we are used to one-on-one exhibitions, physical exhibitions. So when we were struggling to get foreign companies to participate because they're not traveling, we had a call from the Ghana Poultry Project that was funded by USDA. And what was it? How do we also move to a digital platform with our exhibitions? Now, sincerely, like, we are a very small team, and we really didn't know how to embrace it. And so we didn't really leverage on it. And so it was a value lost for us. But we were able to package our training sessions together. We put short training sessions together, which people came for, and have now added value to whatever we are doing. So we lost here, but we're able to balance it here. But in the future, we really have to look critically at how we could do going onto digital exhibitions. Now, with the Women in Food and Agri, that's something that he mentioned on data. I think if you're talking about data in the agri space, possibly we are one of the small organizations that have data. Because you talk about livestock, we have like everything, women in agri, smallholder farmers, goes into maize, goes into soya bean, goes into millet, goes into sorghum. But initially, we're giving out for free. We didn't know it was money. So people will come and we're giving out like that. Then somebody told us, hey, why won't you stop? Like, why don't you package it well? And so we have, even on our WhatsApp groups, we have so many of them. And a lot of interactions and activities going on there. But now we are at a stage, a learning curve, a new path of growth. How do we package all this and to make it valuable to us as an organization? The Women in Food and Agri is funded by Canada. They support us to travel across all the districts. We've been to about 43 districts in the Ashanti region, and we just went to Bolga and then Awa, throughout all of that. So we have real data. We know what the women are doing and how we're able to support them. But our data is scattered. We just came from Tamale. We had over 3,000 farmers who participated in our commodity breakout session and farmer buyer dialogue. Now, these farmers are even farmer-based. So if you're a leader of a farmer-based organization, you have over 10,000 farmers under you. So you could see the triple effect. Yeah. And these are all that we hold. So somebody told us we have gold, but we are not cherishing it. But I think, it's the sector that we find ourselves and how we are embracing it. The students boot camp that we have, we've trained a lot of the students. Some are into mushroom, some are into soya bean farm. They are doing extremely well, and they are now serving even as our trainers. We have a platform, and they have also, through the training, and they've been able to embrace the whole cycle. So some of them are even serving as aggregators now. Some are also creating websites for some of the farmers that we are working with and all that. So, but we've been able to do all this through partnerships. So it's it's somebody believing in the intervention that you have. Like the women in Agrihouse funded by Canada, so which means it is working. You know, partnerships are working, but how do we, as an organization, interventional organization, scale it up? We have the also OCP, Yara, APP supporting every intervention, and that's how we've been able to come to where we are, because they basically align with whatever we are doing. Right. It's only for us now to see how we could be very instrumental when it comes to the digital age, and how we could carry our farmers and all our beneficiaries along.
So at the mention of farmers,